Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mohammed Rahimi Online Basketball Clinics. Today, we are pleased to welcome Mr. Sretan Radovic, a very special guest from Croatia. It's my big pleasure to have you. And today, he will be sharing with us his expert knowledge on the unsportsmanlike topic. With that, I ask that you give your full attention to dear Radovic and stay mute. Don't open your mic please. And anyone can ask a question at the end of our webinar. Uh, now everyone can see a little bit a summary of Sretan Radovic's career highlights. And also I send it to WhatsApp group. Everyone, I think, watch that. So let's start, dear Sretan. You can start it.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. It's a privilege and the honor to be here and to speak with you, to tell you some of my experience, but also to hear from you some of your experience, because although I'm 52, I'm still learning and I'm trying to improve every day, every practice, every game, every webinar, and to make my fundus even larger, and to know some more details, some more examples, and to be a better referee tomorrow. As Mohammed said, and I thank him very much for inviting me here, I'm a EuroLeague referee now, and I also officiate Adriatic League, which is ex-Yugoslav league. I'm active FIBA referee instructor with a license. But, you know, as EuroLeague referee, I'm focused on my games and my work within these two associations. And maybe in the future, there will be better days and we will be able to work and to cooperate together. The topic about unsportsmanlike fouls is a very interesting one because of the most severe. Because there are 2 free throws, or if the goal counts, 1 additional free throw and possession. And also, by correctly refereeing the unsportsmanlike fouls, we are helping ourselves to maintain game control and game management. Because if we don't have the same criteria, I'm not saying just 3 referees in one game, I'm saying all the referees in competition or all the referees in basketball, then the players will have the right to ask ourselves, why you call this and yesterday in the game was called like that, or why you call this and 2 minutes ago you didn't call that. So we are trying to do it with the consistency, and we try to do it so everybody can understand what we are doing on the court. You know that in basketball officiating, we have some things which are a matter of judgment, and the other are just something that it's like that, and there is no judgment in it. So if it's out of bounds, if the ball touches the line, there is no judgment. If you saw it, you have to call it, and that's it. About fouls, it's a little bit different, because we have to judge if the contact was big enough to affect RSBQ, or to do anything to put some players in advantage or disadvantage. And as unsportsmanlike fouls through the history were judged differently, then FIBA and also NBA and EuroLeague, but mostly FIBA for our basketball world, they try to make our life easier. So this is the reason why they put together 5 criteria for unsportsmanlike fouls, and this is the reason why they ask us to use this criteria when we are judging if some contact is unsportsmanlike or not. And this is how they help us to maintain our game control and to manage the game better. So I will now share my screen, and we will have a FIBA presentation, which you probably already seen. So we will just quickly go through this presentation, and then we will continue. So as you see, this is material produced by FIBA, and you all know that we have definition of unsportsmanlike foul, and in this definition, it's already these 5 criteria I've spoken about. So the first criteria is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball within the spirit and intent of the rules. Second one is excessive or hard contact on opponent or the ball. Third one is unnecessary contact to stop the transition. Fourth one is what we call the last defender, but now FIBA, as you are aware, they changed the wording, because in the past this one was very tricky, because it was said, okay, I can share also this screen with you, so you will be able to see. This is the former definition, and it was like contact by the defensive player from behind or laterally on an opponent. And all of you know that defensive player is connected with ball possession. And we had many situations when defensive player tapped the ball, and technically the ball was still in possession of the opponents, but he was the one running towards the opponent's basket and wanted to score, and there was a foul. And by the previous rules, he was not, at that moment, he was not fouled by defensive player, so this criteria wasn't technically good enough. So this is why FIBA changed it, and they put it now: an illegal contact caused by player from behind or laterally on an opponent who is progressing towards the opponent's basket, and there are no other players between the progressing player, the ball, and the basket. So what they did, they changed a defensive player into a player progressing towards the opponent's basket, and now they made it legally and technically correct. So the last one is in last 2 minutes of the fourth period, or each extra period when the ball is out of bounds and the contact occurs, it has to be called as unsportsmanlike foul. The thing that
share it, dear Sretan.
Yes?
Share your screen, please. It's stopped.
It's not shared?
Yes.
Sorry. I will try to do it. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes.
So the penalty for this kind of foul is 2 free throws and the possession. And now it depends if it's before the jump ball, or if it's during the interval, or if the goal was scored. And then we have 1 or 2 or 3 free throws and possession. And then we put the ball in, usually from the throwing line in the front court, but there are some situations when we can put it on the center line extended, or we even can have jump ball after this. As I said, With two unsportsmanlike fouls or with one technical foul and a sportsmanlike foul, the player shall be disqualified for the remainder of the game. Now, let's talk a little bit about 5 criteria. The first criteria is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball within the spirit and intent of the rules. All of you already met this criteria, and in your games you apply it, I believe, with no difficulties, because if somebody doesn't like to play the ball, it's obvious, and especially for people who play basketball and coach basketball, we know when somebody is trying for the ball and somebody is trying just to distract or to stop the opponent by grabbing him for some other part of the body different than ball. Second criteria is if the contact is excessive, hard contact caused by player either playing the ball or without the ball. But if this contact is with too much power and if it's dangerous to injure a player, then we have to protect the game and players, and we need to call or to judge these fouls as unsportsmanlike foul. The third one was the new one, which was implemented because basketball game became too tactical, and coaches and players, when they just wanted to stop the transition and they were not in bonus yet, they just made give foul, and for this reason the games were slower, there were less points in the games, and then technical committee decided that we need to do something to protect the game and protect the speed of the game and to make game even more attractive. So they said, if you want to play defense correctly, and then in this correct defense, if you make a foul, it's a normal foul, personal foul. But if you just try to stop the transition and just to make a contact to make referee to blow the whistle, then it will be judged as unsportsmanlike foul, and the penalty will be more severe, and they will try to discourage players and coaches to use this to stop the game. The fourth criteria we already explained, and this applies on player progressing towards the opponent's basket, and there is no other players between him and the basket, and then the contact is from the side or from behind. If we have to call the contact, if affects RSBQ, then we have to call this contact as unsportsmanlike one. For criteria C3 and C4, the criteria exists until the player in the offense or the player with the ball starts the act of shooting. Pardon. In the moment when player with the ball starts the act of shooting, we cannot apply any more criteria C3 or C4. Still, we can apply criteria C1 and C2. So if the contact is too severe, too hard, or the contact is not on the ball, we will still call unsportsmanlike foul, but we cannot apply this C4 foul from behind or from a side or intentionally stopping the transition. The fifth criteria is if it's last 2 minutes in the fourth period on each extra period and the ball is out of bounds for a throw-in and still in the hands of the official or a player. If defensive team makes a foul, then this foul should be called as a sportsmanlike foul. Usually this criteria is applied when there is a margin between two teams, and the losing team is trying to catch up, and they try to stop the clock and to get more time to score and to tie the game or even to win, and they try to do it so quickly that sometimes they just ignore this criteria. So what we can do in this case as a referees, and what we really do in our games, if we after timeout or when the ball is dead, if we go and if we meet players on the court, what we usually say is, please don't make a foul while the ball is still in their hands, in out of bounds, because I have to call you unsportsmanlike foul. And if we use this preventive procedure, preventive officiating, usually they don't do this. So I really encourage all of you to use it as often as you can, because I think actually nobody likes this situation when you have to call a foul for some normal contact, but the ball is in the hands of the thrower in, and we have to judge it as unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, so we have some practical cases, and thanks to FIBA and my FRIP, which was my FIBA education, I have FIBA examples. So let's check it, and let's comment on all of these cases. So if you will have some questions, or if something is not clear to you, let's please share it with me, and then we can discuss it. Okay. So this is the one. I don't know why this one is. Just 1 second. Okay. So the first example, there will be a shot and the rebound, and now there will be player trying to take the ball, and you see the referee calls a foul, and you will see some surprising faces because the referee called unsportsmanlike foul. So let's see if the referee was correct or not. Okay, you see the white player 12 is grabbing the shirt of the red player, and the referee correctly called unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. So one thing I like to tell you, if you will call this foul as unsportsmanlike foul, please make sure that it's visible that the shirt is grabbed, and that this grabbing influences the motion of player who was grabbed. Okay, because sometimes we are too fast, and we just you know, basketball is sport with many contacts, and there will be in our games some situations when the shirt will be pulled off just for a split of second, and actually it will not influence anything. So what we need to do is not to be very fast. We need to analyze this action. And then if we have situation like this one actually is, with a shirt which is really visibly pulled, then this is unsportsmanlike foul. But if this is just for a moment and nothing really happens and nothing influences, then we can just use preventive officiating, and we can tell to this player, hey, I saw it, nothing happened, but please make sure you don't use this anymore. Now the second one. Okay. There are two big players, Baines and Radulica. And once he secured the ball, there is an elbow in Radulica's chest. Of course, from big guy like Baines, it's very painful. But also Radulica exaggerated a little bit the contact. Anyhow, this contact is not allowed, and this contact is something which by criteria C2, which is hard contact, excessive contact, we should call like an unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. Also, the C1 not playing the ball, but I would rather say that this is C2, excessive and hard contact. The next one, there is transition, and now once the green player is beaten, she tries just to play the white player and to grab her and to stop the transition. So if we like to analyze this situation, then we can use criteria number one, that the green player is not playing the ball, and criteria number three, that this is unnecessary contact to stop the transition. So by these two criteria, this contact is correctly judged as unsportsmanlike foul. Now this is the situation from the end of the game. As you can see, there are 13 seconds, it's 2 points, and now immediately there is a foul. If you check the foul, okay, does the white player, number 12, does he plays the ball or he plays just an opponent? Okay, so now you will see the opponent has the ball and white player number 12 is just pushing him from behind. By the definition, he is not playing the ball, and this should be judged as unsportsmanlike foul. Of course, what we say now is theory, and we try to teach you correct thinking. But for the game spirit and for the everything we like in basketball, with 13 seconds and the result 80-82, we can expect that this player will, or this team will try to make very fast the foul. So if we are experienced enough or clever enough, we will come before these free throws and we will tell to these players, if you make foul, if you like to make a foul, please make it on the ball. So if this number 12 put his hands towards the ball, then it's not a hard foul, not excessive contact. He plays the ball. It's not transition. The ball was already in the game, not out of bounds. He's not last player, so we should call normal foul. But in this case, the referees, they called normal foul because they say 2 points, 13 seconds, I don't want to decide the game. But then the red team, they can ask, yes, but maybe you will decide the game if white team will win. So we need to have the call which is according the rules. And the rule says if the player is not playing the ball by criteria C1, this should be unsportsmanlike foul. So I know that this is a very difficult situation to call unsportsmanlike foul, but by the rules, when we teach referees, we have to teach them that this is something that is illegal and this is something that it should be judged as unsportsmanlike foul. What we can do as referees or referee coaches is also to teach referees and coaches that this kind of foul is not very smart and that this kind of foul is against their team. So please make one more step and put this ball, put your hand on the ball, and then I will call you normal foul. I hope everybody agree with this. I know when this clip came that we had a long discussion whether this should be called normal or unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. Now we cannot say that this was not playing the ball. He played the ball, but the contact was excessive, too severe. So this was the reason because this should be judged as unsportsmanlike foul. Of course, there were some opinions that he played the ball, that this is basketball, this is sport with contact, but we also like to protect players from injuries, and we like to not to allow them to do some movements which are too aggressive, you know. So okay, this is one situation where we can discuss whether this should be called unsportsmanlike or not, but there are reasons for criteria number 2, excessive and hard contact, that there are reasons for us to call it as unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, with the next one, there are no doubts. You will see that the player, once beaten, once in the air, he never tried to play the ball, he just tried to stop the opponent, and this is with no doubt unsportsmanlike foul. Although Anders is not very happy with the decision, but he knows that this is something which meets criteria for unsportsmanlike foul. Okay? I hope I am not going too fast and I'm not that you can understand what I am talking about. If you have any questions, if you have any opinions, please put it on chat or send to Muhammad and we will discuss it. Okay? Now, there will be a pass, and after fake, Paul will not, he was out of balance and he just tried to stop. He knows that he must make a good foul, and this kind of foul, it's not only good foul, it meets criteria number 2, excessive hard contact, and this should have been called as unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, you can see that from this position, Pau has no chance to play correct defense, and he just wants to put Planinic on charity line, and this is what he did. Okay, the next one, there will be pass, fake, and after fake, the player will not try to save himself or to stop, protect injury or something, but he made one more move to make sure that the offensive player will not shot, and this is the reason why this contact is excessive. Okay, see, the right hand make sure that he will not shoot, and after the fake, this contact is too excessive, and this is why it's correctly called as unsportsmanlike foul. Now we come to criteria number 3, and you will see now Tony Parker is trying to go to the fast break, and Stefan is playing the defense. And now I will comment with you some of the elements for this criteria. So when Tony gets the ball, number 9, Stefan Markovic, is in legal guarding position between him and his basket and trying to play the defense. Okay? And now when Tony will beat him, Stefan will reach for the ball. Of course, the contact is illegal, but this contact doesn't meet criteria for unsportsmanlike foul because number 1, he played the ball. Number 2, it's not too excessive. Number 3, it's a legitimate attempt to play the ball and to play the defense. And he is not the last player, so this is personal foul, which is correctly called in this game. On the other hand, you will see this example. Now there will be a fast break and the player is beaten, and with the left hand he just grabs the waist of the opponent, and of course she admits a foul, and she is actually very happy to receive only personal foul because this should have been called as unsportsmanlike foul. You see, in this photo, it's obvious that a red player never tried to play the ball. She just wants to stop the offensive player from scoring. Different. Now, the red team will get a ball. And look now, number white, 40, is in legal guarding position between the opponent and the basket, and he tries to play the defense. Okay, he is leaning forward, and this is a blocking foul but nothing more. This contact doesn't meet criteria C3 for unsportsmanlike foul, and it's correctly judged from the referee as a blocking foul, just a personal foul. If somebody thinks about charge, it's obvious that defensive player is moving forward to offensive player, and this is why this foul is blocking foul. Okay. The next one. This is something that happens rather often. Once the defender is beaten, he makes small contact and immediately raises his hand, admitting the foul. Yes, I made the foul, yes. But by criteria number 3, this contact is unnecessary contact to stop the transition, and we have to judge it and we have to call it as a sportsmanlike foul. So if we have a chance to speak to players, and if we have chance to teach them something, we have to teach them to play the ball, to try for the ball, and then they can stop the transition without big cost, big expense of 2 free throws and the possession, which is penalty for unsportsmanlike foul. Now the white team will have the ball, and you see contact is from behind, but we cannot use criteria number 4, that the contact is from behind, from the simple reason, because in the moment of contact, I will try to find it and to stop it. Okay. The guy who is making contact, the green player, is not the last player. Okay. We have his teammate here. So we cannot use criteria number 4, foul from behind. So what criteria we can use here? Is this excessive contact? I don't think so. Is this not playing the ball or unnecessary contact in transition? Let's see. And we will be able to see it from different angle. So let's see if we can. Okay. So you can see one small move towards the ball, and this move was enough to put the white player out of balance. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but the fact is that the green player tried for the ball, and this is why he tried to play the defense and he tried to play the ball, and we cannot have criteria. This contact doesn't meet criteria for unsportsmanlike foul, and this is correctly judged as personal foul. Okay. So you will see on the photo that his hand is going towards the ball. Maybe this is bad attempt, but this is still attempt to play the ball. So if we have to teach players or coaches how to stop the transition, for sure, number 1 is try to play the ball.
Someone writes on chat, I think Mr. Sretan, the most important element to call the UFA is the position. If you have a good position, you will call it very easily and obviously.
Of course, in this case, Ukic didn't try to play the ball. He just grabbed Marcelinho, and it was incorrect call, just personal foul, and it should have been unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. Now, we are talking about criteria number 4. You can see that in this situation, the yellow player is progressing towards the opponent's basket, and the blue player cannot position himself between the basket and the yellow player. So the contact comes from the side. We have to call a foul, and by criteria number 4, it has to be unsportsmanlike foul. This is not even a judgment. This is by the rule unsportsmanlike foul, and of course, Australian coach knows it or believes it and tries to suggest it. The similar, you will see that the blue player will get a ball. She will go to a fast break, and now the white player is not trying to take the legal guarding position and to play the defense. She's just running to bump the blue player. And because there's nobody between blue player and the basket, and because the contact is from the side, it's correctly judged and called unsportsmanlike foul. Now it will be one example, not very usual. So the player will stop, there will be unintentionally hit from behind, but you know that when we are guarding player with the ball, we need to expect that he can change direction any moment, and we are responsible for the contact. So here the contact is on the player who is progressing towards the basket, and there is no other players between him and the basket, and the contact is from behind, and that kind of contact should be judged as unsportsmanlike foul. Now we have the last example, and criteria number 5. You will see there will be last 15 seconds of the game, and white team will have the throw in under the basket. Okay, the red team will score now, and the white team will have the throw in under the basket. Okay, and now the red team, because losing 3 points, 25 seconds to go, they try to play the very aggressive defense, or to, if they make a foul, to make it very quick. But unfortunately, the red player number 4 is grabbing white player, and the contact is now by number 10. The contact is in the moment while the ball is still in the hands of thrower in, and there is no other decision but unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, this was about FIBA's examples of unsportsmanlike fouls and how they try to teach us about 5 criteria for unsportsmanlike fouls and how to apply them. And I try to share my opinion about some of them and how to avoid some unpleasant situations and how to give the players a chance or opportunity to play correct defense by preventive officiating. So if you have any questions now or
is it finished?
any questions or any suggestions, I will be glad to comment with you. And after that, we can have some other clips that we prepared for you.
Thank you so much. If there is any question, let me know.
I see that in the chat, I have a question to explain again new explanation of unsportsmanlike foul. So I can repeat if you like one more time, and I can show as well. I have it here. Okay. So with yellow, it's written in bulletin number 4, an illegal contact caused by the player from behind or laterally on an opponent who is progressing towards the opponent's basket, and there are no other players between the progressing player, the ball, and the basket. This applies until the offensive player begins his act of shooting. So they just changed defensive player into the player who is progressing towards the opponent's basket. So I can show you how it was before. Okay. Contact by the defensive player from behind or laterally on an opponent in an attempt to stop the fast break. Okay, this was the wording before. And there is no defensive player between the offensive player and the opponent's basket. Okay, this was before. But as we explained, when the player simply taps the ball, he is still not yet offensive player. He is still defensive player because the possession changes when there is control of the ball by defensive player. So if there is only tap and the player is progressing to the basket and there is a contact before, technically it was not unsportsmanlike foul by wording, by the rules. But now FIBA changed it and they say illegal contact from behind or laterally on opponent who is progressing. So they don't mention offensive or defensive player. Okay, now it's not important anymore. So now they gave the chance if the guy just tapped the ball and he is running and it's obvious that he will pick the ball up and score, and he is stopped by illegal contact, they now made it possible for us to call it unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, I hope that I clarified this. It's not even rule change. It's just better wording.
If there is
okay,
question,
now
please.
I think the most important element to call the unsportsmanlike foul is the position. If you have good position, you will call it very easily and obviously. This is opinion from Aya, and I agree with you, but I think that in today's mechanics on the court, we need to work as a team. So if one of us who is, let's say, trailed the new lead, and he is not fast enough, or he is not in the best position, and he is not able to judge it, then he has his two partners to assist. So this is why, especially in EuroLeague games, but also in FIBA competition, you can see that after these kind of fouls, the referees will come together. They will have the small meeting. They will say to each other their opinion. And then if somebody is really positive, if he is sure that the contact meets criteria for unsportsmanlike foul, they can make this decision together. But of course, the decision will be made upon the opinion of the guy who had the open angle to see the contact and to see the whole situation. Of course, today we have possibility to use instant replay for these situations, because if we are not certain, if we are not sure, we can call a foul and we can go and check on instant replay to see if the foul meets criteria for unsportsmanlike foul or not. So I agree that that position on the court is very important, but also this is another question. This is part of the mechanics, and I really do believe that we need to call only from open angles, and we need to do our best to position ourselves in open angles. But if we don't have open angle, then it's better not to make decision, because some of our colleagues will probably have the open angle, and we as a crew, we will make the correct decision. Okay, now from Same Estefanos. I would like to give us your opinion about case which it's last seconds of the game and the team wants to stop the game by foul after basket by push a player, try to stop the game. That now is unsportsmanlike foul. It's a big problem in our competition in Egypt. Yes, I understand that sometimes it can be the problem, but as I said, we need to prevent. We cannot do anything on the court. On the court, if this is if this is a foul, we need to judge it by FIBA rules. So if the thrower in has the ball and the foul already occurred, we need to call it. I had one game in Adriatic competition, and it was the first year when this rule was introduced, and one team was leading by 5, and it was last, I believe, 20 seconds of the game, and the opponents had the ball in the front court after the timeout, and one guy was trying to play the defense, and he tried to pass the screen, and he pushed the screener fell down, and I called the foul. When I turned, I saw that the ball is still in hands of the thrower in. So I was thinking, why would defender who is winning 5 points 20 seconds before the end of the game, why would he make unsportsmanlike foul? And then I said, is this the case for unsportsmanlike foul? I'm not sure. So I called normal foul. And then the coach of this team that was losing by 5 and that was with the ball, he asked me, why this was not unsportsmanlike foul? And I said, because they are leading 5 points, and this is only when you are trying to catch the score. Sorry, I didn't know. So the game finished, and my commissioner came, and he said, why this was not unsportsmanlike foul? I said, because when the team is leading 5 points and it's 20 seconds to go, this rule doesn't apply. This is only for when team is trying to catch the score. And he said, ah, okay. And then the director of the competition called and he said, why this was not a sportsmanlike foul? And I tried to explain to him, and he said to me, come on, don't bullshit me. This should be unsportsmanlike foul. And then he said also to commissioner, and then I said also to coach, sorry, I made mistake because this rule should be applied. Doesn't matter if somebody is leading 5 points or losing 5 points. So this is the rule, and if the foul meets criteria, we have to call it. So if you have problem in your country, I think that the best thing is to connect your referees association with the coaches association, with federation, with players association, and that you work together and that you explain to them the rules, and that you prevent these fouls which comes simply because players doesn't know that this rule exists. So I see you have some clips, but before that, I also have some clips for you. So Mohammed, I suggest that we proceed with the clips that we prepared, and then we can if we have time, we can discuss some clips that somebody want to share with us. Okay?
Yes, it's good. Keep going on, please.
Is it okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, keep going on, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
So now I will share the screen with the other presentation. This is the one. These are clips from EuroLeague, from Adriatic League, and from French Championship. So let's see what's going on, okay? So this is exactly why FIBA changed this rule, this criteria number 3. So if we analyze this situation, look now, Sretan is dribbling the ball, and now Vialchev will take the ball. Still, the white player, he doesn't have control of the ball. So technically, red team is still in the offense. And now there is a contact and there is a foul. So actually, this should be offensive foul, because Sretan is red player is making the foul on a white player while he is still in the offense. By the new rules, by the FIBA change, this is now the white player is player progressing towards the opponent's basket, and doesn't matter if he is defensive or offensive player. This contact by Sretan should be considered by criteria number 3 as unsportsmanlike foul. I hope you understand now the meaning of this rule now. See, he didn't have the control yet. Okay? Situation. This is from Adriatic League. Now there will be red team will take the ball and there will be a foul. They know that the white player still, the red player still didn't have the possession. So they just wanted to go and check the instant replay. See, nobody has, from the red team, nobody has the possession. So actually this was foul of the offensive team. But by the new wording from FIBA, this is foul on a player who is progressing towards the opponent's basket, and this is by C3 criteria number 3, this should be unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. Now we have situation when the referee, who is probably in a very good angle, but maybe too close, he is trying to, he called unsportsmanlike foul. Of course, we have benefit to go and check if this is really unsportsmanlike foul. When we discussed before the IRS check, he said the defensive player never played the ball. So we said, okay, let's go to see IRS. Let's go and check whether he played the ball or not. So we came to IRS, and there is, look, Westerman, look. So maybe because of exaggerating of offensive player, the lead referee was a little bit tricked, but we went to IRS and we downgraded in a personal foul. Okay, the next one. In this case, if we want to analyze this situation, look, the guy already has the ball. That means that he is even offensive player. Okay, defensive player is in legal guarding position, but there is nobody between him and the basket. So that means that he is the last player. The contact is from the side, not on the ball. So we have to call unsportsmanlike foul by 2 criteria. The first criteria is C1 because he is not playing the ball. And the second criteria is C4 because there is nobody between black player and the basket, and he is progressing towards the basket. Okay, the next one. Now we have lead referee calling personal foul and we have trail referee calling unsportsmanlike foul. If you will listen, discussion.
Yeah, but that can be dangerous for the guy. That can be dangerous for the guy. That's it. That's for 2 shots.
So, if you see or if you hear the explanation, the referee said it can be dangerous for the offensive guy. But when we are judging unsportsmanlike fouls, we cannot judge if something is possible to happen or it's intention by the player or no. We just have to judge what really happened on the court. So if we want to analyze this contact, the white 9, the black 22 jumped in the air, but after he jumped in the air, did he make any aggressive movement? Did he put his hands down? Did he try to stop? No, he was just with his body trying to protect himself, to safely land or to do something to avoid the injury, nothing more. So because of that, look, there is no excessive hard contact, and this is why this is simply, like lead referee said, end one. And this should be called as personal, normal foul. But unfortunately, the trail referee came out of blue, and he just gave us his view of the situation, and he persuaded his colleagues to call this as unsportsmanlike foul, which I believe was incorrect. Okay, the next one. There will be a drive, and after that, the white player is showing to referees, go and check IRS, because I think my defense was correct, and it was a foul, but not unsportsmanlike foul. So I'm really interested in your opinion, and when we finish watching clips, you can give me your opinion about this. So I will not say my opinion. I will let you give your opinion. You can put it on chat as well. The next one, you will see that the ball will be on the floor, and that couple of players will throw themselves to catch the ball, and then, oh, okay, sorry, this is another one. So you will see from the leads angle that Perperoglu will never try to play the defense or play the ball. He will just try to smack the, look, this is excessive contact, this is hard foul, and I believe that this decision was correct call, and the referees did a good job. The next one. Okay, we can see that position of the referee in this case is not the best one. But he can see that there is a contact, and that, of course, contact is from the side, and this is why this is unsportsmanlike foul. Like our colleague before put on the chat, we need good position of the referee. Okay, if we analyze, there are two down. This is trail referee, and he is in a free throw line extended. The center referee is even lower. The lead referee is in the middle. So this position is probably confusing for all of them. So now when there is deflection and there is a transition, I think that trail referee is in really bad position, because he was also turned on the other side. So he first has to turn, and then he has to run, and he cannot see if this contact is foul or not. So probably we can have help from the center if he is fast enough to help, because he has probably the angle. But if there is a contact we should call, this should be unsportsmanlike foul, because it's last player, and he is progressing towards the basket. The next one, very clear to everybody that black jersey player number 50 never tried to play the ball. He just tried to stop the fast break, and this should be unsportsmanlike foul. The next one. We can say that this contact is both excessive and not really playing playing the ball. So if we don't call this one as a sportsmanlike foul, we have big issues with controlling the game, because it can be retaliation after, and we will have really big issues about behavior on the court. Okay, the next one. It's also connected with mechanics. You will see now that the center referee actually cannot see if this player is playing the opponent or he's trying the ball. So the only one or the two of them is trail and lead. And when the trail is sure that there is only personal foul, he is going there to share his vision, his opinion. And then after that, they will go to check. They will make sure that this is not legitimate attempt to play the ball, that he is just playing for the body. And after IRS, it will be upgraded to unsportsmanlike foul. Okay. Just one tip. If you are the part of the crew on the court and you know something and you saw something which your partners didn't see, and you see that probably their decision will be incorrect because of this, don't say this for the locker room, and don't go to locker room and say, hey, I think maybe that contact should have been called as a sportsmanlike foul. No. Go immediately on the court, have a small meeting, discuss the things, and then make the correct decision, all three of you. This is exactly what we did here. Now with this situation, we have several issues. First of all, it's transition. We need to know if the green player played the ball. We need to know if he played if he made the contact before the act of shooting or not. And now, first of all, he did play the ball, so that makes a normal foul. And second, he made his foul before the act of shooting. So the decision is personal foul on the floor. And this is what the decision was. Personal foul on the floor. And the explanation for the coach, he played the ball, coach accepted, and that was it. And you know, this is a big game. This is EuroLeague playoffs. So the white player was beaten and the normal foul was called. But the problem was so let's see. You will see the right foot up, and this hit by the foot is by C2, by excessive contact, it's unsportsmanlike foul. And now there is explanation and decision, and that's it. Okay, this is something which is not fair. We don't want this on the courts, so we need to call this as unsportsmanlike foul. Next one. Now there will be some players on the floor. Okay, what's the situation here that I like to share with you? The first thing, when something like this happens on the court, when there is altercation, which means there is possibility that there will be a fight, what referees must do is separate the players. And this is exactly what they did. Look, two of them separated the players, even three, and one of them checked the benches in this case, because as you know, nobody is allowed to come on the court. Why is this important? Because in this situation, we can go and check IRS. We can have a small meeting before, but the most important is that we don't make decisions during this situation. Okay? Don't call now in the moment when they are on the floor, don't call technical fouls or unsportsmanlike fouls or disqualifying fouls. Wait, we have time. We have to separate players. And after that, we can go to IRS, we can check and who was responsible for this, and we can make our decisions, okay? Now they will check slowly, they will see what happened, and they will make the decision. So finally, they had unsportsmanlike foul for this elbow on the floor. He got an unsportsmanlike foul. Okay, now, is this normal basketball move or just attempt to stop the transition? Is this trying to play the defense? I believe not. It was just body bump, and because it's in transition by the C3, this is unsportsmanlike foul. The next, okay, why the player is protesting? Because I believe the referee, the lead referee, he thought, because the blue player just swing, he thought it will be big contact. But finally, it was not. And this is why, look, okay, the contact was in the head. So if the judgment, by the judgment of the referee, this contact in the head was dangerous or was severe or was too strong, then we can go for unsportsmanlike foul. But what I wanted to say to you is, put your air in your bellies. Don't put your air in your mouth. Because if you put the air in your mouth, if you make your decision quickly, then you will, sometimes you will not be lucky and you will make mistakes. So that the foul is excessive, then you can raise the other hand and make signal for unsportsmanlike foul. But don't get hurried, okay? Okay, so let's see a couple more. There is foul with something which happened after the foul. Nobody is really certain what happened. Okay, so we need to go to check. Of course, the first is to separate the players. And then to finish the things. So why I chosen this clip was that after the decision, the way to communicate is to invite both coaches, to explain to them what really happened, what will be the decision, and if they have some questions or something, now is the time. But it's always easier to explain and to discuss with two people than to explain and to discuss with all the players, with both coaches, with everybody. Okay, so if you have some difficult situations with multiply penalties or with difficult decisions, this is the suggestion: invite coaches, speak to them, explain to them, and then you can continue with your game. It's much easier than to speak with many people. Okay, so this is what we prepared. Now,
Thank you so much.
I'm sure that you have a lot of questions. I'm at your disposal for questions or clips or whatever.
Yes, there are some questions maybe. Let me check. Mr. Hadi says there are some elements inside this C3 criteria 3 as the rules mention it.
Yes.
If one of the us not happen, the contact should be called as personal. Yeah, right?
If
That's
one
right.
of us not happen the contact, should be, yeah. If there is no contact, we cannot say nothing. Okay, sometimes we can even say nothing happened, my mistake. Sometimes this is honest, but at least we cannot go with unsportsmanlike foul. If nothing happened, we go with personal foul, or there is a small contact, we go with personal foul. Was this the question?
One of them want to share us
Yes.
couple clips, yes, to comment it. Okay, you can share it, Mr. Navid.
So it's very difficult to see this situation. If you can stop in the moment of contact, it would
Yes,
be helpful.
play it to the end or stop it on the situation, contact situation. Could you
Okay,
see?
so this is similar clip to the one from FIBA when I said we need to use preventive officiating. If they want to make foul, make sure that they make foul to the ball. So as I see the explanation here, no legitimate attempt to play the ball, but I think that we should be smart and we should avoid these things by preventive officiating. Okay. and with working with players and coaches and clubs.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks, dear Mr. Rahimi, for International Referees webinar, and special thanks to Mr. Radovic. We have a challenge about this situation in our country, and in the first clip, when the lead referees call to personal foul, the crew chief have a told with this, and he said you should tell about this situation on Sportmanlike foul. What's your opinion, dear Mr. Radovic? The crew
I
chief
would like
can change the.
I would
Okay,
like
sir.
if you can. I would like if you can stop in the moment of contact. This clip.
Yes, sir.
Play
Yes,
and
sir. Yes,
stop
sir.
in the moment of the contact.
Right here.
Little bit before, please. Little bit before.
Okay, sir.
Just a little bit.
Is it correct?
Okay. For me,
Okay.
you cannot be sure that the first contact is not playing the ball, because
Okay.
for me, the white player is going towards the ball, and then when the red player pivots, he makes the white player looks that he doesn't like to play the ball. But I think that what white player initially he tried for the ball.
Yes, sir.
So this is number one. Number two, this situation is 100% responsibility of the lead referee. So I don't understand in situation. Okay, if something is really black and white, like there is hit in the arm or in the face, and the lead referee doesn't see it, and center referee can see it, he can help. But in situation like this, when there is judgment, if he played the ball or not, I believe that lead referee has much better angle, much better position, and closer, and he doesn't have 4 players in between. So if I'm center referee in this case, I would never come to lead referee to say anything if it was me.
Okay.
But I don't know the situation, so I can just comment the clip.
In your opinion, crew chief can help to the other referees, or he should just do the rules?
Yes, crew chief must help the other referees, but crew chief must find the correct situations to help to his partners. Otherwise, he cannot just go there and say, I'm crew chief, I will make decision. No, he must apply also same criteria, same rules, and he must be even the best referee and you know, the most experienced referee, and then he can help with his experience, with his knowledge, but not just like, you know, I'm big boss and I will now, you know, help. So
Thanks a lot, dear Mr. Radovic. Thanks a lot.
when you are crew chief, you try to have respect from your partners, from your colleagues, and the best respect from them you will have if you respect them. So you must respect the position of your partner, you must respect his knowledge, you must respect everything. Okay, if he missed something, you can go there and you can tell his opinion. But you cannot officiate for him, especially in this situation. This situation for me is not for help.
Thank you so much. If there is another question, let me know, please. Aya, you raised your hand. Do you have any question? If you have, let me know to open your mic. No, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Radovic. That was so great. It's my big pleasure to have you. And thank you so much for taking out your precious time for us. And stay safe, everybody, during this pandemic. Hope come back again to court, me as a coach and you all as a referee.
Thank you for inviting me, and all of you stay healthy, stay safe, and hope to see you soon.
One question, or questions coming.
Okay, okay, we can go.
Dear Mr. Radovic, please explain more that how can a commissioner help to make correct decision?
Okay, there are some things that commissioner can help in some things. So, for example, if there are substitutions, if there are timeouts, if there are, I don't know, something that referees didn't see when there is fighting, when there is stuff like this. But if something is a foul or not, I don't believe that commissioner should interfere. There are 3 referees on the court, and that should be enough. So I believe that commissioner is part of the team and he can help referees, but only what they agree at the pre-game conference. So about procedural things, about time, about score, about substitutions, about protocols and everything else. This is how commissioner can help to referees. Also, if commissioner is able to see that one crucial shot is 2 points and the referee said it's 3 points, maybe if they have possibility to check instant replay and the commissioner can say, are you sure that he didn't touch the line, or stuff like this, you know, just to help him. But he cannot push him, cannot make any decisions for him, because referees for them, because referees are 3 of them on the court, and they should be enough. Okay.
That's it. Thank you so much again for taking out your precious time, and thank you everybody to joining us, and hope have another topics with you. Sure. That was so great. Stay safe all. Have a good time.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.